Alright, Dave Spades here, bringing you guys another Wargame Red Dragon gameplay video. This is 1v1 on Mudfight, and it's pre-1985 decks. I'm South Korea, and he is playing North Korea. Soviet Storm chatted me up on YouTube and said he'd be interested in playing this game, or he'd be interested in seeing this game, and I told him, well, I doubt very many people are going to want to play this game, and he offered, so here we are. Um, Played it a little while ago and just never got to put it up online. Mostly because the audio I recorded for it of me talking during game didn't record, so game sound's still in, but unfortunately didn't record my voice. So I'm just going to talk over my gameplay. Should be about similar what I say. So right now I'm just throwing down three separate groups of units to hold down what I feel are the swing areas on this map. There's a hedge line on the left side that I want to take care of, and then in the middle there's a hedge that I definitely want to get some troops in. And then finally over there on the right, I think by Alpha, I definitely want to try to get control of that. And they should be lined up in that order. I kind of fuck up, and the faster units kind of get jumbled together, and the slower units get jumbled together. But I do my best separating them out. It doesn't affect me. I think right off the bat, I kind of mess up, and I don't slam down any AA except some man pads. It was just a complete oversight on my part. But it doesn't affect me too much. I mean, I just have to worry about North Korean air. So, luckily it doesn't start with a B5. And I'm slamming down some recon. And now I've got a small amount of points. I'm trying to figure out what I want. Vehicle tab is going to have some cheap stuff. Especially this whole deck is cheap because, you know, it's pre-1985. My best tank is like 35 points, I think. So, most of my games, or most of my decks, I just, you know, generally I'll slam down one heavy tank at the start and kind of have my entire army just pivot around that and keep it alive. So I'm playing a little bit differently than I would have had it been a, you know, just regular South Korean deck. Not that South Koreans have that heavy of a tank. You get the K1A1, it's not that, you know, it has a punch, but it's pretty weak in the armor department. So I didn't start off with a command for my sector that I'm currently in right now. He didn't either, if I remember correctly. His home would be Foxtrot, mine's Charlie, and then we both kind of fight Delta and Alpha. Or that's how the map is divvied up in my mind, anyway. So this is about the time I realized, oh, okay, I don't have any AA, and it's not going to be a big deal. I mean, I did kind of get scared when I can't talk. When I saw those MI4s there, and that MI2, I was thinking maybe he's doing something heavy with helicopters, but obviously those are just transports, and he's just got an MI2 recon, so not a problem. I'm going to get this recon vehicle and some hedges, or at least try. And I kind of misclicked right there. Those infantry, those two squads of infantry were actually set to go where the one I'm unloading currently in the forest. But for some reason I sent him up there, and I was scared he was going to have people any second, so I unload him in the city, which is a good swing spot. I wasn't expecting to get that far up. So in this hedge I got some recoilless rifles and tanks on the way. That's just going to kind of keep any pushes from happening early on. And these tanks, they have decent accuracy and horrendous AP, but he's on the same boat. I think he's got 40-point tanks he can call out Chumho 2s, and he's got some T-34s out too, which aren't going to be a problem. So he did take that city. That is on his side. So I'm slamming down a command vehicle because you definitely need points coming in. And what this game ends up being is all about sectors controlled. I get my first zone a lot quicker than he gets his, I believe. And that really pays off for me, I think. So I got my tanks firing on his tanks. I think he's got some recon T-55s in there, which I think outshoot my M48 there. I got my recon vehicle. I'm bringing up my 2 other tanks from that other forest there. So I'm killing some transports and whatnot, firing, plinking at them. That tank's about half health, and the one on the hedges I think is still good. That T-55 is panicked, looks like. He's backing off his transports where I can't fire on him. Looks like he's bringing up his T-55 there, and I get that. 25 points. So right now we're neck and neck. Not a lot going on. I'm slamming down some logistics because my tanks need some repairs, and then I realized, oh yeah, I still don't have AA, so I cancel out one of those and get enough to get a Hawk, which is great that I have Hawks in this deck. Generally, whenever I play against a South Korean guy, I always like to poke fun, call him Mini America. Just because I've never played America in this game, online anyway. I played one against bots just to see the power of America. But anyway, I always poke fun, tell people who play South Korea are just playing Mini America because a lot of their units are hand-me-downs from America. K1A1 is just an M1A1, K1's an M1 Abrams, same thing. They have a lot of similar weapons with their infantry too, and everything pretty much. So, but I lucked out getting Pit or Hawks as my AA. Alright, so I'm already sending command out to Alpha, and he has not secured Foxtrot yet. He's only getting +3, and I'm getting +6. Double his point income. And it pays off. It certainly pays off. Navy SEALs there, matching up against some Yuk Yonde. I don't like that matchup. Yuk Yonde are nasty infantry units. So I'm just going to use my flame tank here and just prematurely just flame the area. I think I end up flaming my SEALs there on accident. Actually, whenever I first watched whenever I was playing, I knew I didn't click on my SEALs, but you know what it is? Even though I had the circle right there where I was aiming, I must have clicked the unit, and he shot right on the unit instead of where my circle was right there. That pissed me off. Fortunately, I didn't lose any of the infantry, but I was cursing up the storm, mostly saying, "What the fuck?" But anyway, I'm burning up that forest where those Yuks were engaging my SEALs. and then my command's coming in to Alpha. And he's got a plane coming in. Can't remember. I think this is a bomber. Yeah, it's a cluster bomber trying to get that napalm vehicle. And he actually gets the tank that was behind in the forest there, or was that the recon vehicle? Anyway, I think it was the recon vehicle, but still, my flame tank is alive. My SEALs survived as well. Gonna try to get that command vehicle in a good spot. And you'll see he didn't put anything in Delta either, except that MI2 off the bat. You know, I've already got control of Delta too. So, like I said at the beginning, this game turns out to be all about the sector control, and I certainly excel in that so far, anyway. So he's playing pretty laid back. He's got more points than I do at the moment, but I think I'm in better position by far, especially when it comes to income. I don't know if he's secured Foxtrot yet or not. I can't remember. If he hasn't, now he hasn't. So I'm bringing in what, 10 points now on his 3. And even though that I'm looking straight at my cargo trucks, I'm probably looking up at the tab there, but I finally see my cargo trucks are heading into that forest there, and fortunately I managed to save them, or at least steer them in the right direction. And there I am talking to him, being a friendly man. I appreciate this guy for playing. I haven't played Wargame in a long time, it seems, and this was definitely an interesting game, interesting enough to make me want to play Wargame again. Kind of waiting on this Red Formations coming out. I wasn't too thrilled about having another Blue Formation added over Red 4 when Blue 4 has so many to choose from to begin with. I felt like we really didn't need Netherlands and could have benefited from some additions to the Red 4 side, which are coming, and it'll be interesting to play as Finland and Yugoslavia, I suppose. I voted for Egypt, but shit happens. Apparently, most people voted for Netherlands because they won out first. I don't know why. You know, you play this game and you want more Blue 4. If you play this game a lot, I would think you'd want more Red 4. Anyway, so he was actually beating my 2 tanks out, my 2 M48s there, and with those Chomaho 2s, they are slightly better tanks, only ever so slightly, and he had T-34 bullet sponges there with him too, so that didn't help any. So I decided to call out a plane to help deal with that stuff, and sure enough, he overextended those tanks and paid for them with his lack of AA, kind of following him in. So manpads miss, pip hits, or hawk. I keep calling it a hawk pip. That's just a hawk. And I turned off my AA there because I was worried about seed, and then I remembered that, oh yeah, it's North Korea. Even if their general decks don't have seed, so I turned it back on. But I am going to move it because I'd be dumb not to. I bought those little quad M2 transports, see if I could do something with them. Unfortunately, they're not as strong as the KPVT quad guns that Russia has, and don't have that AP power either, so I couldn't attack that BTR there just because it's not a valid target. And I was expecting to use those a little bit more than I actually did too, because they're really fun little vehicles and they'll just mow down infantry. But as it turns out, as recoilless rifles, I think end up getting them, just outrange them So I'm bringing in some more infantry for that forest fight over there. I think I'm going to need it. I'm seeing a lot of BTRs just sitting around, so I know he's got quite a bit of infantry, plus all that MI4 action he brought in from the beginning. My seals are probably repaired up by now since I brought some cargo over. Bringing in some armor too to take some hits and shell out some damage too. Looks like we got another plane coming in. Doesn't really matter. I got Hawks out the ass now. Got 3 of them. And as you can see, I've also secured the Delta sector that I failed to mention earlier. So that's given me, what, 14 on his now 6 points. He finally secured Foxtrot. The map is blue for the most part, and I'm just going to start sneaking up some recon up here, see what I can see in Foxtrot, and kind of push that front a little bit if I can. Now I'm constantly pumping out stuff, and what it's going to boil down to is he just can't keep up with what I'm sending out. And it doesn't help that I'm a blue formation. All my stuff's a little bit more accurate, it seems. I think I did view those Chomaho 2s, and they were superior to my tanks, but I just ended up having more of them. He bought a BM-24 napalm rocket artillery piece, and he actually does almost get one of my Hawks there, you see. And that one even got a little damaged, but minimal damage, no losses sustained from that, so we're fine. So I'm just kind of prodding here, see if I can get that AA. Looks like he probably misclicked, and or maybe he's okay. He just misclicked on this Foxtrot area, or his command, I'm sure. So that Chomaho 2's holding his ground there. He had recon infantry right there that opened up on my tank. That Chomaho 2's taking a couple shells now, and he's backing it up. He gets it off out of there, which is a nice, small victory. Keeps the tank alive. So I'm going to take a note out of his book and go ahead and back off after my small victory there. I see those MI-25s back there too, and realize, okay, I don't have AA up there. So I call out some pretty much PVAD wannabes. I still have those dual squad of man pads up there too, so so right now I'm in the lead, I believe, if I can read correctly. The screen I'm looking at is a little bit fuzzy, just in my recording thing. I think it says 150 to 120, but I'm not entirely sure. So I'm pretty much stacking up, as you can see, a bunch of infantry and some of those M36s, which are really great little 10-point vehicles, really accurate for that price range. And I also get some, I think those are recoilless, like trucks, like 106 millimeter or 112 or something like that. I can't remember, but. So my plan is just going to load up a bunch of infantry, and I already have my artillery out to smoke that town right there, that big town, and I'm going to try to do that. 851 coming out that gets stunned by my Hawk and then gets finished off by the Hawk before he's able to drop anything. He's shelling me a little bit on that forest there. Kind of obvious spot for my stuff to be, so he does get my man pads out of there. So I got pretty good force in Alpha for defense, and I got infantry moving up for the attack on the city in between Foxtrot and Delta. Pip shoots that MiG-29 from deep, and he's going to evac that because he does not want to lose it. He's shelling my tanks. I'm not too worried about that. Cargo trucks there are empty. Going to pull them back. Those guys are just about empty as well. Bringing out some more. So recon up there, spotting some transport targets, but nothing meaty. So I got some recoilless infantry there, and just some grunts ready to get in there and take that city. I'm going to bring up some recon infantry in that helicopter, and this attack's going to be underway in a small amount of time. So far I'm still leading, and I don't think it changes for the duration of the game. It was close at the beginning, but he didn't capitalize on Delta or Alpha, or he didn't even have anything in Delta to begin with, which obviously was a mistake. So that may have been a preventive measure to try to keep me from pushing there, because I'm sure he did see my stuff starting to stack up there. Maybe he was trying to slow me down a little bit. Just buying all my planes up because I had the points. I have some rocket spouting planes, some dumbfires, or I guess they're anti-ground dumbfires. So there's my two artillery pieces. I'm kind of smoking the right side, and then I'm going to push the left side. So I'm going to keep that T-55 and any recoilless attacking me from there. Okay, so he's simultaneously pushing Alpha while I'm pushing his city in between Foxtrot and Delta, which I was kind of worried about at first because I allocated so many resources to that town fight. So I'd call out the planes that I did have, those sabers, and try to kill some of their, or at least, dwindle some of their forces and stun them and whatnot. But so I'm doing the attack. I'm thinking he's focused on over here, trying to micromanage his forces over here. He probably saw that smoke go down. He's probably looking over here now. Alright, so my transports are close as I want to get them. Fortunately, I double-clicked and you saw that city up there. I got those Hybrion moving through the open. I think it actually pays off for me, but it was a complete mistake. Small, insignificant mistake, but anyway, I got my stuff moving through the open. Recoilless rifles from the city are now taking fire on my, or not taking fire, shelling out towards my dudes. So I'm just going to fire on position and shake them up, make sure they're not as accurate as they could be. So 6 rounds just pelted that building sector there. And here in a little bit I'll be able to see them anyway. Yeah, here we go. All that sustained fire from those 2 M48s and those M36s. There wasn't really much of a chance for those infantry on that front line. What I do whenever this is happening to me, if I have the city, I pull my infantry to the back of the city so those vehicles don't have any effect on the fight. My infantry's fighting his infantry, and his tanks are just out of place. You definitely do not want to keep your infantry on the front line when there's an assault attacking you, or an assault taking place. Unless, if there's no support fire from vehicles, then hell yeah, have your infantry on the front line, dishing out that damage on that infantry before they get to the city. You don't want to have an equal fight if you can help it. So you definitely want infantry attacking open, or infantry out in the open if you can. But if your infantry's taking fire from 8 guns, then 8 tank-like guns, then you definitely don't want to just sit there and take that fire. So the Hybrion that I brought in over there by mistake from that town, that I just talked about, I'm sure, during the game, because I circled that town. They're getting mowed down by that T-55. I lost one squad. There's two T-55s there that I smoked. That wouldn't have been a big deal had I not moved those high beyond. Now we're able to kill one of my groups of infantry, so just because of a misclick. So M36s did well. He's now flaming the town with his BM-24 to little effect. So I took control of that city, just adding even more ground to my control, and I thwarted the Alpha attack as well. M36 is taking fire from those Chomo 2s, so I'm going to go ahead and back them off. Definitely don't want to lose them. Even though they're only 10 points, there's no sense in losing them. Looks like he's chasing a little bit for those M36s. Luckily they didn't run out of fuel. Those things are gas guzzlers. My peace pheasants are coming out to you know, kind of slap his wrist, tell him, hey, that's just not cool, don't push out like that. He had AA, but it was a little too far back behind his line, or the line he was pushing with anyway. He had like 3 pieces back there, but they didn't really get to do anything. And then he brings out a MiG-29 a little too late as well. So B5 comes in, just pounding the middle part of that city. Luckily, I still have my my infantry just on the outskirts of the city. I did lose that logistics vehicle I captured from him, but that's not a biggie. Yeah, he just kind of whiffed on that one. I don't know if I killed that B5. I probably didn't. But yeah, because my AA is out of missiles, but I'm gonna fix that, I'm sure. But yeah, I got cargo trucks on the way, so if he sends that B5 out again, he won't have a good day. So my next attack is going to be into Foxtrot. I've got a superior position. I've got that town. I've got that hedge. If I want, I can even smoke that forest that he's holding. If I really wanted to be devious, I could just start pounding the forest with actual artillery. But no sense in that. I don't like artillery, and I do like it, but you know, it wasn't necessary. I like smoking artillery, or using artillery to smoke. Makes it more interesting than just outright killing shit. And not that my artillery was accurate enough to probably kill a lot of that stuff, but I probably could have got the AA and then just overwhelmed him with helicopters or something. But that's not really my play style. I got SEALs moving up, and I'm going to see if I can prod Alpha, get him out of there. What he really should have done is just, you know, if he's going to hold that Alpha area, at least contest it with a command vehicle, just to make sure I at least don't get the points. Because right now, like I said, I'm 14 points income, and he's only 6. I don't know if that's per second or what, but it can't be per second. It's probably per couple seconds. I don't know. I can't remember, but still, almost double his points, over double his points that I'm pulling in. So I got a bunch of M48s pushing him. He's got those Sosong Poes firing at me. They got 8 missiles on those little tanks, but those missiles are just so inaccurate, and they're bad even when they hit. They'd probably do decent damage against these, you know, lower end tanks that we're both forced to use, but I've just got so many of them, and that's due to me having way more points than him. You know, I've got 1,300 points right now, and I can only imagine he's got a very small amount of points. And there's a B5, gets brought down by the Hawks. F-35B. No, it's not an F-35. Fuck. I don't know what it was. I could barely read, and for some reason F-35 popped in my head. Anyway, he calls out GG. Game's over. It's been over for a while. I just had superior position, and I kind of point that out to him. Definitely not in a mocking way. I'm just trying to better him and explain to him what happened. But in all, I mean, it was a fun game. Definitely used some units that I never use, which is always fun. Anyway, I'm just moving everything up. My AA still doesn't, or it just used all its missiles for that AA he brought in, or that aircraft he brought in. Is in my 25s are prodding at my M48s that were pushing unsupported. I had no AA backing them up. But I think those flaytas on them, you know, they're not that great either. But definitely don't want my tanks just dwindling due to flata fire. So he's pushing a little bit again in Alpha. Last ditch effort at a push, I believe. Unfortunately, Alpha is under my control. He does have some infantry in my forest, kind of prodding around, trying to get my SEALs to track him down. But for the most part, this game is over. I'm almost at the point cap, I think. Or maybe it says 1400. Still got 11 minutes. I guess this video does go on for a little bit longer. I probably end up I can't talk tonight. Just getting the point cap. Tanks here supporting my recon infantry. Probably going to lose them though. And I do. BTR getting pelted by my tanks, no contest. Infantry moving up with them though. Those MI4s trying to help out, but they're not going to really do much or anything to those tanks. The transports are my transports that I kind of pulled up to stop them are all kind of getting shit on by that infantry group, as they should in the forest. So my tanks over here are still pushing up. AA's moved up. He loses another plane. He probably shouldn't have bought as many planes as he did, especially since they're shitty North Korean planes. I would have definitely went with more ground forces. And I score another B5. His B5 does kill one of my tanks, but definitely wasn't worth it. Definitely had too many points for North Korea to be invested into air superiority. A lot of those planes didn't really get any use or have any effect on the game. Had he slung down, you know, some more Chomahos into Foxtrot, he may have held it a little bit longer anyway. Or sent some Chomahos to Alpha to help his infantry push whenever he did that attack. But instead he had planes, you know. But, yeah, I'm just kind of talking to this guy. I can't remember what I said, and I definitely can't read it right now. But I think it was all advice, and, you know, no mocking intended. I enjoyed being able to play Wargame with someone who wasn't a complete tool bag. Seems like a lot of the Wargame community is exactly that. But which is unfortunate because this game is a solid game and it's got great gameplay and just, you know, one of the best RTSs I've ever played, just because of the depth it has. You know, I played StarCraft, and you know, it has its own type of depth. It's you know, you gotta constantly look at the change log for just minor, you know, shavings of seconds off certain abilities or whatever, you know. But this has a depth in its own, just because you have to know, or you don't have to know, but knowing what units you're going up against, how, even, you know, a small unit, something that costs a small amount that a lot of people don't use a lot often, knowing what those units are capable of can change a fight. You know, I don't know, but anyway, this game's wrapped up, as you can see. I don't think there's any point in continuing this game. It's not like in 7 minutes he's gonna do special forces CV snipes on all my on my commands. I've pushed him out of Foxtrot. I've accomplished everything I wanted to do, other than just pushing him all the way back, which I don't think I have enough time to do anyway. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. And like I said, once those Red 4 Nations come out, I'll probably be spending a little bit more time on Wargame than I have been. At the moment, I've been playing some Gears of War 4 and Titanfall 2 and Battlefield 1, getting my time in on those games, especially Gears 4, and I'll probably put some more Gears 4 stuff up soon, just because I am, you know, pretty hard for that game right now, and I consider myself pretty decent at it, so and thoroughly enjoy playing it. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking. Hope you guys enjoyed. Peace out.